Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I have a video that's going to be just a little different. Today I'm going to be doing a review on a product that I have been using for a good couple of months. Like every time I do my makeup I use this product. So I wanted to make sure that before I did a review that it was going to be a product that not only I was getting good use of, but that I really enjoyed it. And even if there was going to be things that I didn't enjoy, I wanted to make sure that I used it long enough to be able to share that with you today. So let's go ahead and jump right into it so this isn't a super duper long review. So the items that I'm going to be reviewing for you today are going to be the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind, and they look like this. Some of them look like this in the white packaging, and then some of them are in the clear packaging. I believe the only thing different is the packaging. The amount of products that you're getting is the same. So just a new look, revamping their packaging. So I own 4 of these. They are concealers and correctors. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about concealers and correctors. Concealer is obviously pretty self-explanatory. It's to conceal anything that you don't want to be prominent on your face. So usually things that you would want to conceal are your under eye circles, maybe any blemishes that you don't want to be visible, you would conceal those. Any fine veins or any broken capillaries that you may have around your nose, around your chin, you might want to conceal that as well. Anything you might want to neutralize or correct is usually going to be the blue under your eyes, any veins, any greenish, bluish circles, anything like that. So I have 4 of these and I'm going to show you what they are and what they do. So this one here, I don't know if you can tell on camera, but it is a bit of a yellow orange tone corrector. So this is called the neutralizer. That's the shade. So this is the neutralizing shade. I use this shade mostly around or on my under eyes. Sometimes even on my eyelids if I'm not going to do any eyeshadow or heavy makeup. I will just correct. I usually get a little, sometimes you could see a couple of my little veins on my eyelids, and then of course to correct the blue tones and the green tones under your eyes. So I usually will neutralize them so they go away, and then I will conceal a little bit just to brighten and highlight the under eye area. So that is mostly what I use the neutralizer for. Under eyes to neutralize any darker pigmentation such as blue or green. The next one I have, the shade in this one is called Fair. So it's a lighter shade, and this is usually the color I use to conceal under my eyes. Usually for a concealer, you want to go a couple of shades lighter than your skin tone, especially if you're concealing your under eye area. That'll just brighten it up and give you a nice awake look. So that is the Fair. The next one that I have is in color medium or light medium, but it is more medium toned than this one. This is definitely light and this one is medium. So this medium concealer I use if I want to conceal anything on my face. I actually want it to be the same color as my foundation or pretty close. I don't want to conceal, for example, a blemish. I don't want to conceal it with a light concealer because at that point I'm only going to bring attention to it if it's a lot lighter. So this medium shade I use if I happen to get any breakouts, anything like that. I'll just dab a little on it, blend it right into my foundation, and it's works really well. The last shade that I want to show you is this one here. I'm pretty sure they all look the same on camera, but I am going to do swatches on my hand so you can actually see what the colors look like. This one here is called the Brightener. So this is an illuminator. This you can use under your eyes if you because the illuminating I guess little sparkles or particles in it are not like, whoa, you know, disco ball under my eyes. Definitely not like that. The illumination it gives is very subtle and very natural looking. So you can use this to either, you know, illuminate a little bit under your eyes, and it just kind of reflects the light. So once again, just to highlight. Or you can use it on your inner corner right in here, especially if you're doing a darker eyeshadow look. That'll just, you know, make your eyes a little bigger, a little brighter, and not so closed in when you do a darker eyeshadow look. You can also use this as a brow highlight because, like I said, it does give you that illuminating factor. Or you can also use it to highlight your cheekbone. So this puppy here, the illuminator does have, you know, more purposes than just to conceal under your eyes. You can definitely highlight your cheekbones and everything else that I just mentioned. So some of you may be wondering, why do two of them have the little spongy balls on them and the other two don't? Okay, so I'm going to show you real quick. They all come with a little ball tip like this, and it is a sponge. So what happens to get the product out is you twist this little red portion. You actually crank it like this, right? I don't want to crank it too much because then it's going to go everywhere. But anyway, you crank it like this, and then the product comes in through a little tube, and the sponge here soaks up the product, and then you can apply it directly under your eyes or wherever you need to, depending on the shade, right? It says in the packaging that this is supposed to not hold any bacteria. It's supposed to be very sanitary, you know, to use on your face, so on and so forth. Is that true? Honestly, I don't know, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. So what I have done, and I haven't taken them out on these two because these two are the ones that I use only on myself, and I'll probably end up taking them off by the end of this video anyway. But these other two, the neutralizer and the fair, I do use on my clients, so I find it to be more sanitary and cleaner. So this is what it looks like without the sponge. So the sponge just goes right over this. But like I said, I've removed it. So when you crank it, as you can see, this is, it goes in, you crank it and then it goes into the middle tube and actually releases it from the top there. And once if you have the sponge, then the product coming out of here is just going straight into the sponge. I find it cleaner and more sanitary to take the sponge off, and when using it, you crank it up and then you can just remove it from the tip with a brush, a clean brush obviously. Or sometimes what I like to do is I'll take my makeup palette, and this is a palette that I use to either mix foundations, mix concealer shades, or anything like that. So I find it sanitary to just take the product and possibly place it on your little palette. That way the tip of this doesn't get contaminated and it stays clean, and then you can just remove your product directly from a palette, or you can put it on the back of your hand. Anyway, you understand what I'm saying on just trying to keep your product or the tip of your product clean. So that is why these are missing the little sponges. Once you take the sponge out, it looks like this, and this smaller part goes in here in the little round area, and this is what stays poking out. Anyway, your choice on how you want to use them. I feel like the sponge just absorbs most of the product, and then, for example, if you were using a shade to conceal any acne or any blemishes, if you're using the sponge on an active blemish, and then at that point your sponge is contaminated from the bacteria from your blemish. So just an idea. And the way that I find it works best for me. All right, so with that said, I'm going to show you what these colors look like so you have a better idea on what the shades look like, because they are all different, even though they all just look the same in these containers. They are very different. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom you in a little bit, and I'm going to give you, or I'm going to show you swatches on the back of my hand. So this one here is the neutralizer shade. It is very, very yellow based. So I'm going to show you what that one looks like, just like that, and then I'm going to rub it in so you can see what that looks like there. So this definitely neutralizes, you know, any veins or any dark pigmentation under your eyes. So that is the neutralizer shade. The shade in color Fair, we'll do that one right next to it. This one does have a little bit of a pink undertone, but once well blended out, even if you are a medium complexion, you will be able to use this shade. So this is Fair, so you can see it is, let's see if I can, oh there we go, cover some of the lighting from the outside. So the top one is the neutralizing shade, and then the bottom one is Fair. Keep in mind these aren't fully blended out, so they're gonna look really, you know, stark, like, whoa, I'm not putting that in my face. But you obviously want to dab it in, you know, and blend it out real good. So this is the medium shade. I'm even gonna show you just how I do it here. I just pinch the tip, and it's glued in there, so it's a little challenging. And you see, just by doing that, all of the product that has just been sitting in the sponge. So I'm gonna take that out and find something to clean my fingers with. Okay. Alright, so there we go. So now I've removed the sponge. So let me show you. You just want to crank it like this. There you go. And crank it. And sometimes when they're newer, the product isn't fully in this little pipe thing. You want to give it a couple cranks until you, oh, there it goes. There you go. And then without the sponge, you can also see how much product is coming out when you have the sponge over it. I mean, you can go to town and just crank it, and you really don't know until the sponge is completely saturated. By that time, it's all gooey and kind of yucky. Okay, so this is the, what did I say? Light medium shade. So let me blend this one in. This one has a bit of a orange tone to it. There we go. See if you can see that. So that is the medium shade. So once again, neutralizer, light, and medium. I'm going to take a picture of this and post it on the video so you can see it better. So I know the lighting, outside lighting, can be a little tricky. So this one is the brightener and the illuminator, and like I said, you can see how much I've used of this one and how much I've used of this one, and this one's a bit fuller, so you'll be able to see. Once you start making a dent, you'll be able to see it in there. So this one is the brightener, the luminizer. Just show you again real quick. I'm just gonna leave these off completely. Like I said, I hadn't taken those off. Honestly, I just don't really know why, but like I said, I prefer them without the sponge. Okay, so let's crank this one up a little bit. And I usually do 1 or 2 cranks at a time. There we go. Because you don't want, you know, an overload of product. So I'll do a little bit of this one. This one is very, very pink. So with this, I would be very, I would use it sparingly. I wouldn't go crazy on this one because it is very pink. And this, to do this under your eyes, I would probably recommend it more if you are lighter skin tone, if you are of light complexion, because the pink won't be as prominent as you know, someone that's medium or deep complexion. So here is the this light a little bit. Here is the, there you go. This bottom one is the illuminator brightener. So there you go. I hope you can see those. Let me try to see if there's a better way I can show these to you. I'll just go ahead and take pictures just so you can see it. See it better. Oh, I guess that's a little better. So see how pink that bottom one is? And then so we've got the neutralizer, very yellow orangey base. This is fair, this is light medium, and the brightener. So like I said, I'll go ahead and take pictures so you can really see the difference between one another, and then you can really see what they look like. So now that I've showed you the product, how it works, best way to keep it clean and keep it sanitary. Let me zoom you back out. Oh, wrong way. So now that I've showed you all of that, let me go ahead and just kind of review the actual product and tell you how I like it and how I enjoy it, and if there's anything that I don't like about it. What I didn't like about it, luckily, was something that I could fix myself, which is these spongy things. I didn't like this originally, like I said, because I felt like the sponge just wasn't clean, wasn't sanitary, and because the sponge absorbs all of the product, so when you go to apply it with the sponge, if the sponge is soaking with product, you're just going to get a big old gunky, a big amount, a large amount on your face, and that just to me is just inconvenient, because if you do get a big old blob, then you know sometimes it's too much, you have to end up wiping it off. It's just inconvenient for me. So that is one thing that I did not like about the product, but like I said, it was something I was able to fix. I pulled them out, no big deal, problem solved for me. Besides that, I want to say that is the only thing that I really did not like about the product. Other than that, I really like these. The pigmentation in all of them is great. So when it says it's going to neutralize your under eye circles, it really goes in there and does that. It almost makes them just disappear. So very great quality and pigmentation, and it really does do what it says it's going to do. It's going to neutralize, so it does. The lighter ones that are going to conceal, it does conceal. I like the creaminess of it. I feel like it's really creamy, and the product is moist, not drying. So I feel like when I go in there to blend it under my eyes or blend it, you know, on any spots, I feel like I don't have to work hard. I literally just dab it with my fingers or use a brush, and it just kind of smooths out easily without tugging under my eye or anything like that. So I love the actual consistency. I love the pigmentation. I love the consistency. I do like that it also kind of dries more of a powder form, so it doesn't necessarily stay wet and gooey and, you know, like that under your eyes. Once you blend it up real good, it actually just has a really soft type of feel once it dries. So that's always nice. I do always set mine with a powder. Honestly, I want to say that's just habit, because I always set my under eye concealer, and if I'm doing foundation and liquid foundation, I'm applying this over it, I always set my foundation, so therefore I set any parts that are concealed. So I always set it with a powder. Does it need to be? Honestly, I don't know. I've never used it without a powder. So every time I conceal my under eye area, I set it with a mineral veil or the camouflage from Benefit, or any type of concealing setting powder. I always set it with that, and as the day goes on, I come to see that by setting it, it really just keeps it from settling in, you know, any fine lines that you may have under your eyes. So I always set it with powder, and it doesn't budge. It doesn't go anywhere. By the end of the day, I am still full-blown highlighted, concealed, good to go. So I do like that. They do last a very long time. You don't have to worry about, oh, you know, my concealer is rubbing off, it's just melting away. No, it's gonna stay on there. It's a really good product. They run about, I want to say between $6 and $8 each. Once again, like any other drugstore product, the price is going to vary a couple of cents or a couple of dollars up or down, just depending on where it is you go to get it. So whether it's CVS, Walgreens, Walmart, Target, but that is the range, or the price range. I bought all of mine at Walmart, and I think I paid about $7.49 for each. What else? That's pretty much it. So I mean, I think that concludes my review.